Ready? When driving through a crowded parking lot on a Saturday evening, have you ever seen a car that made you glance back at it a couple times? That car might just be a Ford Mustang. Today I'm going to discuss how the Ford Mustang has changed since its introduction in 1964 to today's muscle car. For most of my life I have loved Mustangs. My father owned one, my grandfather owned one, and now I own one. Most Americans today enjoy beautiful cars. Some of them even like to take their cars out for a ride and take them to car shows. Henry Ford started the mass production line in this country, so the car you drive today has its roots in Ford history. In 1964, Ford introduced its sports car, the Mustang, into the world. Since then, it has evolved into the muscle car you know today. I'm going to tell you about the changes that have transformed a beautiful little sports car into the beefy muscle car you know today. In April 1964, Ford introduced its newest sports car to the world, the Mustang. It was introduced to the public on April 17, 1964. It was at the World's Fair Park in New York. It was shown on all three American television stations, and it was in the Ford showrooms in the same day as the revealing. It immediately became the bestseller to the public. 22,000 of them sold the first day. 1,200 cars were produced every workday, and 400,000 cars sold in the first year. It was never intended to be a muscle car. It was first offered with 4 engines, the biggest being a 289 with 271 horsepower, and that was a lot for back then. Lee Iacocca wanted to make a car that weighed 2,500 pounds for $2,500. He wanted to produce a car in a year and a half, which was almost impossible at the time. From the highly successful beginnings, the Mustang changed greatly over the next few decades. Although the traditional Mustang was still manufactured, changes began with secondary production. Carroll Shelby greatly modified the Mustang and named it the GT350, and it made 35 more horsepower than the traditional Mustang. It was a race car for the street, as they said, and it won 3 championships 3 years in a row. In 1967, Shelby came out with the GT500. It was equipped with the Cobra Le Mans engine, and it was a 427. Only 2,000 of them were made, so it makes that car one of the most valuable cars of the Mustang today. Shelby wasn't the only secondary designer at the time. Bucky Knudsen and Larry Shinoda made the Boss 302 and the Boss 429. To preserve the secrecy of the car, they named it the Boss Project. It was the first Mustang to ever have a 302 engine. The Mustang was the first of the new kind of car, the pony car. Other manufacturers scrambled to compete with Ford, and they made their own versions like Camaro. This put pressure on Ford to keep ahead of the competition. As the decades went by, the Mustang developed new body styles to fit its time period. The Mustang underwent many changes in the final quarter of the last century. It was the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s. In 2005, Ford came out with the S197 body style that recreated older Mustang styles. This style lasted until 2014. The body style was a huge success to the public. It set off a retro trend in the auto industry, and it was its own platform. In 2015, Ford unveiled its new body style, which was called the S550 body style. It was a little wider and a little lower than the previous generations. It came out with the independent rear suspension, which the previous generations did not have. Now let's review what I have covered. Over the years, the Mustang has evolved from a little sports car into one of the leaders of the muscle industry today. In April 1964, on all 3 American television stations and at the World's Fair in New York, Ford introduced a new sports car, the Mustang. It became instantly popular and led to the car industry into the new kind of car, the pony car. Over the years, the car has changed to fit its times. As you can see, the Ford Mustang has many makeovers in its 56-year history. Some good and some bad, but it has evolved and is still popular with today's drivers as it was when the unveiling in 1964.
Okay.